So in 2022, um, I had decided to go on a bit of an adventure. Um, and it started in Greece, um, but that's not where this story is right now. So it started in Greece where I was teaching yoga, and then where we're jumping to is Spain, off the coast of West Africa, an area called the Canary Islands. And I wanted to go there because I heard or I researched that they are some of the darkest skies on our planet. Um, and unfortunately for me, I didn't also research when the new moon was. And so I ended up being there during a very powerful full moon, especially the night that I decided to go to the top of the mountain of the Canary Islands. But that being said, it was still a wonderfully powerful and phenomenal experience that I got to share with my friend Georgie. So Georgie I had met while I was teaching yoga in Greece, and we kind of kicked it off and became friends very quickly. And she was down to have a micro adventure with me in the Canary Islands. And so I flew from somewhere. I can't remember where I was flying from. But I flew there, and then we met up, and we rented a car, and we stayed in this awesome little bungalow Airbnb. But this story is about seeing the night sky. And so earlier in the day, I said, "Hey, like I think we should camp out." And she was kind of like, I'm not sure. Maybe we'll see how we feel when we get there. And the island is pretty wild because nothing is far away, but it takes time to get there. And it's because the island is basically one big fucking volcano. And yeah, so you have these roads that are, maybe the on a straight line is only 15 miles away, but it takes an hour and a half to get there because the roads are full of switchbacks and squiggly turns, and it's just having an automatic there for me was a godsend. It just, you're not going very fast, and it's just a lot of turns. And so we were set off to go to the top of this mountain. And as we're driving there, maybe it's like 10 o'clock as we're driving up, and the road starts getting really dark, because there's these observatories that they've spent millions of dollars on putting up here on the top of this island, and so they want the area to be as dark as possible. And so there's no lights, and there's hairpin turns everywhere, hundreds of them. You're just ping-ponging or bouncing around like a pinball around these corners, and the roads get kind of tight, and it's dark, and as we're driving up, we can see the moon, and it's almost eye level with us. So it's like we're eye level with this moon that's, if it looked like the size of a frisbee or something, you could just reach out and grab it. And it was poking its brightness through the trees that were along the mountainside, and as we're driving, we're climbing, and you can kind of feel the temperature dropping, and it feels less and less tropical. And as we get to the top, it's probably approaching 11, and I'm so happy I packed all of my camping gear before we left. Before we left, we were like, we'll go there, hang out for a little bit, and then turn around. But we didn't expect it to take an hour and a half to get up there. And so it being later in the evening, and I still needed to do the photos, I was like, I'm just going to set up the tent and and it was a good call, because then Georgie could be all nice and warm and cozy while I was outside setting up my camera to do some time lapses, or a single time lapse. And I have to say, I really love shooting time lapse photography, especially with the stars, because I like to see our planet move. That experience for me is just phenomenal. Watching the stars pass by is a reminder that we're just on this little rock spinning through space, and it makes me so happy. It's just, at the end of the day, it's how lucky are all of us to just have any experiences, and experiences that we get to share with others. And it brings a huge smile to my face, even now, rethinking about those moments that I got to spend with my friend, how precious they were, and magical. Even the drive, even though it was pretty laborious, it was fun. And as we got up there, it was like, wow, the stars were incredible, like so clear. Even with the moon being so powerful and bright, it basically lit up the landscape, and the air was crisp. Again, not feeling tropical anymore. I was like, oh, I need a hat and my coat, and I need it all because it's chilly. And I set up my camera to do the time lapse, and towards the end, you can see this in the time lapse, that the telescopes, I believe they are, I don't exactly know what they are, but they shift, and they're these big mirrored objects in the background, and they shift. But in that moment, it felt like aliens were contacting us. We're sitting in the middle of this field, there's no one else around, and we hear this sound that sounds so alien. It was mechanical and powerful and loud, and I wish I could have recorded it, but it sounded like yeah, like Transformers, aliens trying to talk to us, and in that moment it was spooky and strange, and we couldn't see those things spinning in the distance, and so we basically just chalked it up as being, it's probably the telescopes shifting in the background. But I remember moments of being like, what the fuck is happening out here? Yeah, and I definitely want to go back during a new moon and really see the depths of our skies and our galaxies, in the best conditions. But even though the conditions were not ideal because of the moon, it was still a spectacular time, and it was such a lovely memory to capture, and now get to share with you.